So, for those of you that are new to endometriosis, I decided that I wanted to be as transparent as possible because there are people dealing with hurts and pains that we may not always see. That can be debilitating, that can be life altering, that can be frustrating and overwhelming and all consuming. And I personally have been diagnosed with endometriosis and live in this level of pain on a regular basis. So, when I was about 14 years old, I started to complain of pain in my stomach, severe pain. And I was a straight A student, had graduated high school with a 3.93 or 3.96, I can't remember. And so my mom knew something was wrong if I was trying to miss school. But I mean, I would be laying over the floor, on the floor, crying, screaming, saying that I had all this pain. And I saw doctors repetitively, and they would always tell me that nothing was wrong with me. Fast forward a few years later, when I had my first daughter, I continued to complain. They kept saying, definitely nothing is wrong with you. When I had my second daughter, it was like, that's when it got worse, right? Worse, like worse than it ever been. So I started to complain, and I started to do my own research. And that's when I got exposed to endometriosis. And I kind of checked like every box. So I brought it to their attention. They're like, no, if you have kids, you can never have kids if you have endometriosis. So that definitely can't be it. One day I was in so much pain. I told them that I was not leaving until they figured out what was wrong with me, because I made so many appointments and I got blown off so many times. And finally told them I wasn't leaving. Long story short, in 2015, they did surgery, found out I had a very aggressive form of endometriosis, treated it. Long story short, with endometriosis, it's aggressive, so it continues to come back. Actually, some research says that it's almost like comparable to an autoimmune disease, where it's like your body fighting with itself. So it's constantly weighing on you. Anyways, I share that to say that sometimes we don't see the pain that other people are in. Sometimes we don't see what people are dealing with. And so for me, one of the most frustrating parts of endometriosis is endobelly. So for those of you that are not aware of endobelly, I'm going to tell you about it. So check out the next slide, where you will see a picture of what I look like in the morning, and then what I look like towards the afternoon or the evening. So if you look from picture one from the morning to picture two in the early afternoon, my stomach looks totally different. And it's not like necessarily anything that I ate. It's literally endobelly. So because of my diagnosis of endometriosis, sometimes I can have a really flat stomach, and sometimes I can have a really swollen abdomen. And so that can last for hours. It can last for days. It can even last for weeks. And for me, a lot of times that can be really discouraging, because when I'm making progress in the gym, I'm noticing changes in my, my biceps and my triceps and my shoulders and my quads and my glutes and everything else, but I'm not seeing any progress in my stomach. It can be discouraging. And I want to share that and relate it to healing, in the sense that sometimes we're making progress with healing, but we don't even realize we're making progress because you can't physically see it. That doesn't mean that progress isn't happening. And for those healing from debilitating diseases such as endo or anything else, I want you to understand, like, not to give up, to stay active, to try to keep your body moving, to try to keep your body healthy. There was a point in my life where it was really, I wouldn't move because I was in so much pain. And what I came to learn is the more I moved, the more it created those natural highs, those natural feel goods. And it made me feel better about my body by keeping my body moving. And so workouts are really, really good outlets for me, because I deal with a lot of exhaustion. I deal with a lot of frustration. Sometimes it can, hurt my self-esteem a little bit. And so working out really keeps me engaged, keeps me active, keeps me feeling good and healthy. Also, through this journey, like in addition to finding health and staying active and learning about myself, one of the best things that I did is I reached out for help, and I didn't stop where I couldn't get it anymore. So I told you guys that this started when I was about 14 years old, and I dealt with pain, and I dealt with doctors blowing me off. And for years, I actually felt like I was going crazy, right? I'm like, I'm in this pain, but nobody's believing me, and there's nothing visible about it. Nobody can see it. Nobody can sense this pain, and nobody's believing me. But I found an amazing doctor who's actually an endo specialist, who has been able to help make sense of my symptoms, right? Has helped to make sense of endobelly, of extreme exhaustion, of extreme fatigue, of the headaches, of the overwhelm, of the sadness that comes with it. And not only has she helped me make sense of it, she's helped me to create a life around it so that I can still find joy through that experience. And so I share that because it's so important to have people in your corner, one, that believe in you, and believe you. And two, that give you motivation to keep going. There was a point in my life where I really thought the endometriosis was going to take me out. And I don't mean like kill me, because it's not a disease that will kill you, but it's debilitating and it keeps you in a lot of pain. And so there was a point where I was questioning if I was going to be able to move forward with a lot of my goals, or be able to balance all of the things that I need to balance, especially as a busy mom, a single mom. But just getting that support and having support around me has been so inspirational and so helpful through this process. And so the key contributors to that are like my daughters understanding and being supportive, because I know sometimes I get sleepier. They know sometimes not to tease mommy about her puffy belly. Having my mom do research and send articles to me. My doctor's amazing and she's in constant communication with me. And my trainer understands. And so he knows certain things that may trigger that, certain days that I might not be able to make it. He knows, and he doesn't judge me and supports me through that. And so being able to have that roundabout support has really encouraged me on this journey to healing. And the thing with endometriosis is, like, I've had surgery before. I'll probably have surgery in the very near future. So it's not something that goes away. It's something that I will live with. But I'm believing God for healing. I'm believing God that I can find joy despite the endometriosis. I'm believing God that I can find confidence in insecurity despite that, because the more I learn about it and the more support I get, the more encouraged I feel to reach out and support other people. And I know a lot of times I talk about healing in the sense of like breaking up or financial constraints or grief or things like that, but healing can look like a lot of different things, because some of us are dealing with things that people don't even see. And so it's important that we talk about our own journey and our own route to healing. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing this information with you guys today, because had I not gone through my own experience with endometriosis and heartbreak and everything else, I wouldn't have learned more about who I am, and I wouldn't have found the resilience that is inside of me. That's a great characteristic of mine. And so that's why I'm here sharing it with you. If you're dealing maybe with some kind of condition that you're embarrassed to talk about, or you're dealing with pain that sometimes feels difficult to bring to the surface, I'm here to tell you that if you shout what saddens you, it gives you purpose. It reminds you that you matter, and you can get the support that you need. And don't do it from a place of, seeking sympathy and wanting people to tell you like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. But do it from a place of empowerment, like feel empowered about what you're experiencing, and share with other people so they too can use, they can find that strength that you have. They can learn from your own story and from your own situation to find what they need to succeed on their journey. And that's why I'm so passionate to share that with you. If you guys have any questions, obviously feel free to ask me. I'm an open book in this topic. The more I've learned, the more I'm open and willing to share, and the more proud I am of myself along this journey.
Hold it back there. Hold it. Yeah. Don't move your elbows.